Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of MarkRushtonGallery.com and also MarkRushton.com and me on Instagram. And look at this. I'm flipped around here. I've mirrored my camera. I figured out how to do that after I don't know how long. As I go into the settings there, I'm like, I'll mirror your camera. Let's mirror the camera. Let's mix it up a little bit here today. So it is Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. And kind of just on an art rant here today. Going to talk a little bit about what's the subject here today? It's called talking about expectations. I see this all the time in the fine art world. I see this all the time in the music world. I've been a recording artist for over 20 years. I've been a member of ASCAP since 2002. Um, I've got about I'm doing okay as far as the music is concerned, and always had an interest in fine art and painting and that sort of thing, and trying to turn that ship into something that I turn the music into. Right, so I'm taking a lot of the things that I learned from the music side, trying to apply them over to the fine art, the painting, the print side of things, merchandise. You talk about merchandise, Rushton. Well, you know what? I love merchandise. I love seeing my paintings on tote bags like this. But we'll get into that. That's awesome. I can't wait to have more tote. I'm going to have so many tote bags. It's going to be crazy. You talk about the future. Talking about expectations here. Talking about expectations because, and let's kind of listen before we get into that. I always like to talk about Instagram because this is my followers increased 10% last week. I was at 138. Now I'm at 152. Well, that's not very many followers. Hey, man, it's up 10% a week. If I kept those numbers up, yeah, where would I be in a year? That would be kind of crazy. That's probably not possible. Again, we need to talk about expectations. I didn't do anything on my Instagram, and why don't I have any more followers? I just showed up on the scene. Why don't I have 1 million people following me? And huzzahs and garlands, and you have the wrong kind of expectations. You have unrealistic expectations. Listen, you have to build it, right? You have to figure out the way to do it. You have to put in the time. Now, let me show you something here real quick. I always like to start off each sort of chat or art show or whatever like that, showing off. And I just made this like 10 minutes ago. I made this reel. It took me a couple of minutes. And I'm just going to let it play here, and I'm going to kind of talk over it. The music on it, which I am not playing, is the song "Chemical" by Beck, but it's the Chloe Calais remix, which is much better than the original. That album he put out a few years ago, what was it called? The Information or something like that, where he's kind of like he's got the 70s vibe going on. That really was not I didn't really kind of like that. I don't know. Maybe I would choose to kind of remix it, which is what Chloe did. And she turned the song into something just great, really, really good. Classic Beck as far as I'm concerned. He's of my generation, right? And then his family history is, goes back to the factory and further back from there. So, it's nice to see a song that was just kind of like ho 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 hum or whatever was turned via remix, was turned into something that I still play. It's been out. I think the remix came out last year. Anyway, so I applied that here to my reel, and this is just a very simple 15-second reel, and once it cycles through again here, I just kind of talk about it here. This is about ready to end here. There's that. And so we start off showing Mark Rushton Gallery, the July 4th, 70% off weekly original paintings. And I show the weekly sale page. Just kind of scan it a little bit there. I'm an art school dropout who managed to hang on to creativity. And there's the old QR code and the Mark Rushton Gallery. And, Do I expect to get sales out of this? Let's talk about expectations. No, I don't expect to get sales out of this, for God's sakes. Why would anybody think that? Well, I made a reel. How come I haven't sold anything? Oh, yeah. Considering the economy. Yeah, people are just sitting around with wads of cash, ready to buy art. Talk about expectations. No, they're not. They're worried about other things. And so I don't know. I see this all the time. Blue cup, red cup. I think I'll drink from the red cup. Thank you very much. As much as I was happy that the Cubs won the World Series. Oh, look at my camera's mirrored. I'm backwards. You're backwards. You have the wrong kind of expectations. You're a Pollyanna. Where are my rose tinted glasses? I don't have those. It takes work, man. And you have to have fun along the way, right? So there's that. We'll see what that reel turns into. I didn't do one yesterday because I was a little busy around here doing things and getting things done. And I was busy in the yard this morning before it got all super hot and everything, and just making things look beautiful. I don't always just work on paintings or prints or merchandise all the time. I kind of consider my yard, which isn't, listen, I got about 1.5 acres, but really only a very small amount of that is really kind of maintained as a yard. The rest is ravine and bush and dead trees, being natural. This is a natural environment out there. I've got we have a couple of groundhogs that live on the property. I let them live here. One of them, my wife has named Tony Soprano because he waddles he's kind of fat and waddles around and bashes into things and eats all the weeds. And then apparently he's got like a son, and we saw him recently, and Ann called him AJ Soprano. Oh, you're really good. That's really good. Meanwhile, look at my hair here. I'm kind of turning into Polly Walnuts, and get out of here, All right, I'm just lost my mind here, but yeah, expectations. And the other thing that I do on Sundays, at least with regard to the fine art side, is I'm always tallying up every week I tally up my numbers, and I'm not going to show you my numbers because honestly, they are a work in progress. They've only started here in the last 2 or 3 months. But, Instagram's going up. I mean, where I was like 3 months ago with Instagram compared to today, it's almost double. That's great. Well, what if those people aren't buying anything? Well, maybe a year or 2 or 3 or 5 down the road, maybe. We'll see. You got to build that. You got to build it. You have to build it along the way. And then, as I also like to say, if you build it, they will come, only happens in the movies, right? Field of Dreams, that's just about 90 miles away from here. It's true. You have to have expectations. But I track data on here, and I can see that, the numbers are going up slowly here, fast there. It's fine. I track it every week. That's good. So anyway, yeah, that's the Instagram there. So let's go over to the gallery real quick. So my gallery, what was it? Friday night, I had the live art sale, and showed off the different paintings here in my weekly sale section, which is where I take paintings. And yeah, I'm on YouTube. I think I'll join myself. It's where my weekly sale is. So I take paintings here and offer them at deep discount. Deep discount. And why is that one $29.95? That one actually should be $44.95. Well, somebody better jump on that and buy it real quick. It does have free shipping in the United States. So let me show you how easy it is Listen, I largely regard my website, which is markrushtongallery.com, as a gallery. You can go around there and take a look at different things. But if somebody were to want to buy a piece of art, it's super easy. And let me show you how. Like Washing Curve here, $29.95, super deep discount, free shipping in the United States. And that means something with the gas and diesel prices as they are. All you got to do is click instant checkout. All you got to do is put in your credit card and your billing address, pay the $29.95 for this painting here, and then it comes to me and I fulfill the order, and everybody goes home in a limousine. So I did that on Friday. I did that on Friday. I had people show up from Twitch and YouTube. I don't think anybody showed up from Facebook, but I don't have that many people on sort of my following me on my Facebook page, but that's okay. People got other things to do. Is there anything else going on this weekend? I don't know, right? Again, you got to have expectations. And then I went through the side here and I just kind of showed it my prints and everything like that. But I want to show you something else here real quick. Last night, oh, nope, not that one there. What was that? It was, yes, it was this one here. So this was it's somebody I've met on Discord. She's part of an organization that I'm part of. And I attended the first 20 minutes of her first online art sale. She did very good. Very, very good. And very interesting art. Very interesting art. And really good abstracts. Really good abstracts. She's out of Nashville. And she was on there. I'm going to be doing my first live art show. And, could somebody look at this. We've got comments. I was on YouTube looking for this to hear you. Here I am. Have a good 4th. I will have a good 4th. Thank you for commenting. So anyway, back to this. So she was going to have her first live art sale. And I said, I've done 29 of them and I'm still learning. And I'm still a little nervous doing them. So I said, you know what? I will attend your first live art sale. I'll be able to attend part of it. I got other things going on or whatever. So I watched the first 20 minutes where she presented, I think it was like 10 paintings. They were on super deep discount for her, it was $180. They're very nice. And, big enough size and everything like that. And, she taught me something in her live art sale that I don't do. And that is you see down here, hold on here. I got the, so she's got the link tree down here. And it's like, that's something I don't do. And I was just like, oh, you know what? I've heard people talk about Linktree. They just have one link that they can link to, and you don't have like a big, 500 million different things in the description. So that's one thing I need to do. I need to do something like a Linktree. And sometime here in the next week or so, I'm going to throw that in my little bullet point list there. And we'll see what happens here. So that's what I did. I spent a little bit of time giving back, and then afterwards, in the Discord, I was just like, hey, great first art. It really was. It was a good first art show. If she keeps doing it, she'll get very good at it. And I hope to be much better at it down the road here. That's why I do a couple a week. That's why I come on. Listen, that's why I come on here and I talk about the gallery. And that's why I also get on here and I talk about the music side of me and music that I release and my podcast and being able to license music. You have to tell people about that sort of stuff. Otherwise, they don't know. They don't know. I'm not psychic, I drive down the streets of my town. And sometimes I wonder if people think that I'm psychic, but you know what? I'm not. Maybe they are, but I'm not. Again, expectations. They're like, oh, he's going down the road. I don't think I'll stop at the stop sign. Maybe he'll slow down and won't hit me. Like, well, is that psychic? I don't know. I don't know what they're on, but that's anyway. Let's get over here to this one here. And this is this is really kind of what I wanted to talk about. Was I think his name is Ray, and his website is Suarez Art. He's in England, and he makes these just very diverse abstract paintings, huge things, smaller things too. I think he delves into a little bit of sculpture as well. This guy has just completely bootstrapped it and scratched it out and built what he could out of this as far as a career and everything. So I started watching him. I think it was back in 2019. It was right before COVID. It was right around this time here. And he had made some videos over the years before this, but not many. Not many. And the other thing that he didn't do was that, and let me just turn the volume down here. Let's get the theater mode here so I don't have a whole bunch of the crap on the screen, right? So this is what he made a video a little bit earlier, a couple months before this, and it was just walking around the studio, and then there was some music playing underneath, but he didn't talk. He wasn't telling stories about he's just showing them off, and that's good. But when I say with the live art sale or showing off the merchandise or something like that, is that you need to maybe tell a little bit of story, talk about that or whatever. And here what he's doing is he's sort of talking about a little bit about his story, about how this kind of the short version of it. But the other great thing that I love about this video is he's walking through his gallery space. And of course he talks about how, listen, when I got this building, it was derelict. It took me like 4 years to restore it. I was working this crappy job. And so, it's like this, none of this was luck, right? That's what he's talking about. So he's not talking about the art. He's sort of telling the story or whatever. And that's fine. That's good too, because we can't just always, market our art. We have to sell our personality and everything like that. But this was kind of the first video. And as you can see down here, October 2019, where he's, talking about his journey. But what do you see here? What do you see in the background? It's the art. It's as I like to say, it's as obvious as snow. And this was he inadvertently discovered how to merchandise the art that was in his studio. Now he's got a website and a mailing list and all this sort of stuff. But he really did not know how to merchandise his art on something like YouTube or video services. And you can see the project up there, Project Sun, what's it called, Sunseeker or something like that. Sometimes these have prices on them or whatever. And so I was watching this, and this was back when I was in galleries and before, what happened in 2020, right before what happened, just a few months before in 2020. But look how the camera, his assistant has the camera, and you're going around. You're listening to him talk. And honestly, if I had the audio on here, his audio is terrible. He must have been using the microphone that was on the camera. And sometimes the lighting isn't that great. But if you look at his newer videos where he's walking around the studio, he's got it down, man. He has got it down. But he had it down here. He just didn't have he just didn't really have all. This was the first time, other than the time with the music in the background. And you can say, well, I don't like his art, or it's not consistent or something. I don't want to hear those criticisms. That's not what's matter here. That's not what I'm talking about. What I want to talk about here is that he is merchandising his art this way. And that, here's a video from 2.5 years ago. And, 14,000. He had, I don't even know how many followers he had back then. Maybe 1,000, maybe. Might have been less. He might have been in the hundreds. Now he's got like 68,000 followers on YouTube. And is the internet going down? Hold on. Like one connection is unstable. Hold on here for a second. Let's just let him wander around the studio while the internet gets a little bit better here, maybe at my house. This is just I can't wait until I have a little bit better internet. Going on these rants and everything. So maybe I shouldn't be I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be playing the video here anyway, but let's just skip around here a little bit. Hey, he's going through. I look at this. I mean, what if you were like a collector and you wanted to, you're like, oh, where's that one sort of Monet-ish, greenish thing? Where's this? Where's the Stella? Where's the Motherwellish type of painting? Where's the splash? Oh, good. We're back. We're good. We're back. But you see how this is? This art, the art isn't going to sell itself, but he's inadvertently, he's selling it here. If you listen to what he said, he's not talking about the art. He's telling a story, and that's good. And these days he moves around the studio. He knows what's going on, and he shoots everything in like 4K or 8K or whatever. And he's got a good microphone. Is he talking about it here? Yeah. So anyway, this was my introduction to him, and this was my introduction to thinking about merchandising my art. And of course that eventually led, and then the last 2.5 years is what it is. And then I decided that I would go online, and then I would do live art shows, and then I would, talk about the art, do daily art talks and all that sort of stuff. But that video right there, maybe it was that one. It might have been one of the other ones around this time here. Like he did not have it figured out. He didn't have that many followers. He was still hustling on a local basis. And now, he's probably has an international clientele. He's probably doing better, you would think. At the very least, he's got a lot of people subscribing to him on YouTube and all that sort of things. I just, but so you see something like that from 2.5 years ago, somebody who backed into it, right? Yeah, he had infrastructure to a certain degree. Yes, he has what is now a nice studio. He has built that up over time, but he didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle. He wasn't born out of whole cloth, right? He didn't have all the answers right at the beginning. He didn't learn. He didn't take a marketing course and, well, that's it. Like there's things you have to do, and there's things you have to learn along the way. So, the connection's getting unstable again. That sucks. But why is it like that? Why is the connection unstable? I don't know. Oh, there. That's suddenly got a little bit better. Anyway, I just wanted to ramble about that lately, just because I even in the forums where I am right now, and this is something that I had to deal with here a few weeks ago with the music side, and the last 20 years really is, you encounter, I would say, I encounter these musicians out there, and maybe they release something on Spotify, and they do a very minimal amount. They don't really know how to promote things in this day and age, or how long it takes to sort of build that up. And I don't mean by having fans or an audience or something like that, but just figuring out all the pieces to the puzzle. And And it seems like they want to give up very quickly. I released something and it wasn't a hit, so I give up. And it's been a month or 3 months, and they don't want to move on to the next thing. They spend so much time building their little perfect thing that they can't move on from that, or they can't accept that it didn't work out, and they can't understand how that could be part of their catalog, and it may actually work in their favor down the road for whatever reason. So I understand there's a certain percentage of musicians, artists, writers, filmmakers, whatever, who feel this way, but it's a high percentage of them. It is a huge amount. And even those that are presented with what we think is the playbook on how to do things, a lot of people get in there and they don't want that. They want the cheat codes. They want it handed to them. They want the world to fall at their feet one way or the other. Why am I not super successful? I'm really good. Everybody's really good. No, that artist isn't good. And I don't know, the system's rigged. Stop worrying about everybody else, right? Stop worrying about everybody. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop being an elitist. Stop being an elitist. Stop that. It's just I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a I just I guess I have to just avoid it. I guess I have to avoid those people, the negativists, the malcontents. There's so many malcontents in the arts. And maybe that's part of my journey too as well, because like on the music side, I mean, I do okay. I do well with it, right? And so, when I come back to communities or to people or to musicians who are out there plugging away at that, I say, have you tried this? Have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? And maybe I'll try a little bit of this. Maybe I'll give it up after a month or 2 or 3 when, I didn't become Drake or, that Kate Bush song, right? Oh, it didn't happen for me. It's like, well, give it some time. Give it some time. It's not Spotify's fault. It's not Daniel Ek's fault. It's not Steve Jobs' fault. It's not Sean Fanning's fault. It's not it's not the place that you paid a bunch of money to that said, "You know what? Follow our playbook and, over time things will happen." You have to put in the time. You have to where is it? Hold on here. Hold on here. I have one last thing here. You must stick around for this. You must stick around for this. Where is it? Where is it? Promo. And here's my quotes. And we're just going to bring up the 10 rules. And let's, what are the 10 rules? The Immaculate Heart Art College Art Department rules. 9 of these were written by Sister Karita Kent, and the last one was written by composer John Cage. Rule number 1? Find a place you trust, and then try trusting it for a while. Right? Find a place you trust, and then try trusting it for a while, not a month or 2 or 3, for a while. Rule number 2, general duties of a student. Pull everything out of your teacher. Pull everything out of your fellow students. Rule number 3, general duties of the teacher. Pull everything out of your students. Rule 4, consider everything an experiment. Rule 5, be self-disciplined. This means finding someone wise or smart and choosing to follow them. To be disciplined is to follow in a good way. To be self-disciplined is to follow in a better way. Rule number 6, nothing is a mistake. There's no win and no fail. There's only make. Rule number 7, the only rule is work. If you work, it will lead to something. It's the people who do all the work all the time who eventually catch on to things. Rule number 8, don't try to create and analyze at the same time. They're different processes. Rule number 9, be happy whenever you can manage it. Enjoy yourself. It's lighter than you think. And rule number 10, this was John Cage's edition. We're breaking all the rules, even our own rules. How do we do that? By leaving plenty of room for X quantities. And I love the ending here. Helpful hints. Always be around. Come or go to everything. Always go to classes. Read anything you can get your hands on. Look at movies carefully, often. Save everything. Might come in handy later. It might come in handy later, like your catalog. Oh, there should be new rules next week. I've featured this before in other videos, and what can I say? It's maybe I need to bring it up a little bit more often. Oh, one last thing here. What's the other one here? Yes, Andy Warhol. This is very important. Don't think about making art. Just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art. One more. We're not done yet. I got my bag of quotes here. In 2011, music producer Brian Eno was asked in the Believer magazine, if you could email your 20-year-old self about what was ahead, what would you tell him? Or would you tell him nothing and just let him get on with it? And Brian Eno's reply was, I think I'd say put out as much as you can. It doesn't do anything sitting on a shelf. My feeling is a work has little value until you release it, until you liberate it from yourself and your excuses for it. It's not quite finished yet. The mix will make all the difference. Till you see it out there in the world along with everything else, you don't really know what it is or what to think of it, so it's of no use to you. But real quick. Yeah, your expectations. Find a place that you trust, and then try trusting it for a while. Not a month, not 2 months, not 3 months. And then badmouth it because magic didn't happen. Find a place you trust and then try trusting it for a while. I mean, if you can handle these sorts of philosophies out there, you can be like me, right? I guess. I don't know. And I'm an art school dropout who managed to hang on to creativity. Right? I'm an art school dropout who managed to hang on to creativity. So I'm trying to do here. Just trying to hold on to that creativity by your fingertips. Don't give up, guys. Don't give up. Man, this is a long ramble. I can't believe so many people have stuck around. This is great. Again, I'm at markrushtongallery.com. Sign up for the mailing list. Please. Stuff's coming down the road. Give me time. Talk to you later.